What if I told you that there are aspects of our lives that are meant to remain hidden, revealed only to the faithful heart willing to trust God's timing? In a world that constantly urges us to share, the art of keeping certain matters private is an act of spiritual discipline and faith. Just as Jesus often retreated to pray in solitude, Luke 5 verse 16, there is wisdom in withholding certain details from the world, not out of fear, but out of reverence for the journey God has set before us. Silence is more than a strategy, it's an expression of trust in God's protection and guidance. C.S. Lewis observed that faith is the art of holding on to things your reason once accepted, despite your changing moods. In the same way, keeping silent about future dreams and plans reflects our willingness to let God shape our paths without interference from worldly forces or doubts. As Proverbs 29 verse 11 reminds us, a fool gives full vent to his spirit, but a wise man quietly holds it back. By safeguarding our visions, we resist the temptation to rely solely on human approval or understanding. When you refrain from sharing everything, you create a sacred space for God to work in your life. This silence is not a sign of secrecy, but of surrender, trusting that God's will unfolds best without external influences clouding your heart or intentions. So, as we reflect on the steps God has laid out for us, let's remember that some aspects of our journey are meant to be pondered and treasured in our hearts, as Mary did with the words spoken about Jesus, Luke 2 verse 19. The mysteries we keep private often speak more powerfully to our faith than any words we could ever say. Learning to exercise discretion is essential for nurturing both dreams and relationships, as premature exposure can disrupt the delicate processes needed for them to thrive. Visionaries understand this profoundly. Dreams, like fragile newborns, require a private incubation period shielded from misunderstanding and skepticism. Silence provides protection. Sharing prematurely can invite adversity. Quietly submit your dreams in prayer and avoid the urge to seek public validation. Share selectively, with a few trusted confidants if God leads you to, knowing that keeping divine insights private allows them to mature at the right time. Doing so ensures a safe environment for your dreams to flourish without undue external interference, strengthening your future and preserving your divine purpose. Building a circle of trust with those who respect the sanctity of your dreams and offer support is crucial. Confidants act as pillars, giving strength and encouragement during challenging times, helping maintain your vision's integrity. Additionally, not all revelations are meant for immediate sharing. Some are designed for a period of internal preparation. This strategic silence enhances your potential for success when the timing aligns with God's plan. Similarly, family matters require careful handling. It's vital to protect sensitive family issues from public scrutiny, whether they involve marital disputes, financial struggles, or relational conflicts. Some people struggle to keep family matters private, which can quickly erode family unity. Not everything needs to be shared. Even during disagreements with a spouse, resolution should begin at home. A problem shared isn't always a problem halved. Oversharing can worsen the issue, particularly if shared with the wrong people. The Bible's wisdom on love and forgiveness reminds us that it's best to address family concerns privately, shielding them from unnecessary exposure. Imagine Mary sharing her struggles openly with others. It would have complicated her situation. Instead, God encourages us to approach family challenges within a loving and private context. Seek counsel from spiritually mature advisors who value confidentiality, as this preserves the sanctity of family relationships and reduces misunderstandings. Handling matters with discretion fosters an environment for true healing and reconciliation, protecting each family member's dignity and emotional well-being. Moreover, discretion applies to our victories and breakthroughs. When God grants blessings like promotions or new opportunities, the impulse to share them immediately is strong. However, Proverbs reminds us that diligent, deliberate action leads to sustained success. Celebrating early wins privately allows time for full realization, avoiding the haste that can lead to setbacks. In silence, our achievements grow stronger, establishing a secure foundation for future growth. In a broader sense, cultivating wisdom and sharing serves your immediate family and sets a valuable example. It teaches the importance of privacy, internal conflict resolution, and unconditional love. Whether nurturing dreams, handling family matters, or celebrating breakthroughs, managing sensitive issues with grace not only protects those involved, but also instills values that reinforce trust and resilience in the face of life's trials. In a world filled with distractions and calls for immediate validation, waiting for God's timing is an act of profound trust. Patience nurtures your soul as you embrace God's pace rather than your own, understanding that the harvest requires both cultivation and divine timing. Proverbs reminds us, for everything, there is a season and a time for every purpose under heaven. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1. In choosing to wait, you're cultivating not only your patience but also a character that is grounded, resilient, and fully prepared for the journey ahead. By trusting in God's plan, you're allowing your life to be an instrument of His will, giving room for your success to mature fully and securely in alignment with His purpose. God's timing builds a solid foundation in us, one that can withstand the pressures of visibility and the responsibility that accompanies success. As C.S. Lewis poignantly observed, humility is not thinking less of yourself, it's thinking of yourself less. In the early days of your success, keeping silent about your accomplishments is not about hiding but protecting what is sacred. Each achievement, like a candle, can shine brightly if nurtured in stillness rather than exposed prematurely. Just as Mary quietly pondered her divine calling, so too must we, protecting the light of our purpose until God reveals the moment for it to shine openly. In this way, our growth is more than merely visible, it becomes lasting and impactful. When it comes to finances, we must exercise discernment. The Bible warns in Proverbs 13 verse 11, wealth gained hastily will dwindle, but whoever gathers little by little will increase it. In a world that often equates worth with material success, keeping financial matters private allows us to focus on God's provision rather than fleeting approval from others. Resist the temptation to display wealth as proof of success. Just as the Israelites were guided by God to collect manna each day rather than hoard, we too are called to trust that God's provision is sufficient without needing to parade it. In a similar vein, C.S. Lewis remarked that prosperity often blinds us to what truly matters. Wealth is not a measure of worth, and neither are material assets a testament to your faith. Instead, let your financial life reflect discreet stewardship, a practice of faith and reliance on God's provision. By keeping your finances private, you not only protect yourself from envy and pride, but also create a testimony to God's faithfulness in your life. Seek first His kingdom and His righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. Matthew 6 verse 33. Such priorities bring peace and assurance, allowing for a quiet dignity in trusting God above all. In career matters, discretion is equally essential. Career success is often a product of God's blessings and favor, yet it's wise to refrain from broadcasting each promotion or opportunity. When God opens doors, let His light be the one to illuminate your path. Proverbs 27 verse 2 states, let another praise you, and not your own mouth a stranger, and not your own lips the quiet satisfaction that comes from diligent, humble work resonates more than self-promotion. In a workplace environment often driven by ambition and competition, your consistent ethic and humility will distinguish you far more powerfully than words. Keep your achievements close, sharing them only when God has prepared the right moment for them to be seen, and let your career journey be a testimony to His faithfulness rather than your prowess. Similarly, some spiritual experiences are meant to be held in quiet reverence. The Bible gives several examples of sacred encounters kept private. When John received revelations of the seven thunders, Revelation 10, he was instructed not to write them down, while Paul described hearing inexpressible things that he was not permitted to repeat. 2 Corinthians 12 verse 4. God sometimes invites us into intimacy through dreams, visions, and encounters that are meant for our personal journey, to shape our faith and understanding. By keeping these moments private, you are honoring the sanctity of your relationship with God, resisting the urge to turn them into spectacles. As C.S. Lewis wisely observed, we may ignore, but we can nowhere evade, the presence of God. Some revelations are gifts intended solely for your spiritual edification, to deepen your walk with Him rather than to be shared openly. This approach is not about secrecy, but about nurturing a sacred bond with God. When we are entrusted with divine insights, it is often best to treasure up all these things in our hearts, as Mary did. Luke 2 verse 19. Protecting these experiences from trivialization or misuse reflects a reverence that honors God's wisdom in revealing them. Each sacred encounter should be treated as holy ground, to be approached with awe, gratitude, and a sense of stewardship over God's mysteries. Ultimately, keeping aspects of your life, financial, professional, and spiritual, guarded is not a sign of fear or timidity, but a testament to your faith and trust in God's guidance. Life in Christ is about understanding that every part of our journey, every success, every setback, and every private revelation has a purpose. Our role is to trust and follow God's plan, embracing the quiet dignity of letting Him lead. May your journey be one of reverent silence where needed and bold faith where called. Remember that God's timing is perfect, His provision unfailing, and His plans unfathomable. Seek to please Him above all, and let your life be a light, not for temporary applause, but for eternal impact. In your quiet growth may you find joy, strength, and the abiding peace that comes from placing all things in His hands. As we are reminded in Psalm 37 verse 5, commit your way to the Lord, trust in Him, and He will act. Let this be the guiding principle as you walk humbly, purposefully, and faithfully in all areas of life.